When you're hiring, posting your job on just one site isn't enough. So where do you go to find top talent? With ZipRecruiter, you can post your job to 100 plus job sites with just one click. Let ZipRecruiter's powerful technology match your job to the right candidates and use their simple dashboard to find your perfect hire. In fact, over 80% of jobs on ZipRecruiter get a qualified candidate in just 24 hours. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/Stephen A. That's ZipRecruiter.com/Stephen A.
This is the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
I'm Stephen A. Good everybody. Welcome to the latest edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show, coming at you as I love to do every weekday over the airways of ESPN Radio. That's 710 ESPN LA. That's 98.7 FM New York City. And, of course, nationwide over the airways of ESPN Radio, Sirius XM, Channel 80. Number to call up, as always, is 866-729-3776. That's 866-SAY-ESPN. Lots of stuff to get into with you today. Lots of NFL action. The opening of NFL week one. I mean, I know it was Thursday night with New England getting trounced by Kansas City, but the first Sunday, the first weekend of NFL football took place. Obviously, the Dallas Cowboys handled their business last night against the New York Giants. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Green Bay handling Seattle at Lambeau Field 17-9. We'll get into that. We'll talk about the Philadelphia Eagles beating up on Kirk Cousins and the Washington Redskins 30-17. We'll revisit the conversation as to whether or not Kirk Cousins is indeed a franchise quarterback worth the money that he's getting. We'll talk about Carolina 23-3 over San Francisco. Cam Newton has returned. Houston in the aftermath of Tropical Storm Hurricane Harvey in Houston, Texas. First game there, J.J. Watt, last player, introduced, standing ovation, raucous crowd. Everybody was hyped. And then Jacksonville handled their business, and they said, excuse me, Hurricane Harvey, we got it. But there's also a Hurricane Irma in the state of Florida. And we're going through it now, and went out on that field, and they handled their business 29-7 over the Houston Texans. I was getting trolled by the Detroit Lions because when Matt Stafford threw a pick six, I said, oh, hell no. I don't want to see that from some dude being the highest paid player in the National Football League. I don't want to see that. And then he goes out there and throws about 4 or 5 touchdown passes. They beat Arizona 35-23. The Detroit Lions then felt the need to troll yours truly. And here's all I have to say to them. This is all I have to say to the Detroit Lions. I'm sorry. I stepped out of bounds. They got me good, and I deserved it because I was a bit premature in calling Matt Stafford out to the carpet. He handled his business. He deserves a lot of credit. I have no idea why Pittsburgh struggled with Cleveland. I'm going to talk to my man Ryan Clark a little bit later on in the show about that. And, of course, the Baltimore Ravens proving yet again why Marvin Lewis should be fired as the head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals because he's been there for 14 years, still hasn't won a playoff game. They got shut out in the season opener, 20-0 by the Baltimore Ravens, who intercepted Andy Dalton about 4 times. First order of business. Couple of things on my mind. And by the way, I didn't forget college football either, because I got news for you. I watched Oklahoma beat up on Ohio State. Oklahoma might win the national championship. Oklahoma might win the national championship. This dude, Baker Mayfield, looked like a better version of Johnny Manziel when he was at Texas A&M. And the speed that they have on both sides of the ball, I was very impressed with the Oklahoma Sooners. I'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show as well. I saw Donald at USC handling his business against Stanford. I saw that. All of that stuff is stuff we're going to get into today. No doubt, we ain't running from any of it. But the first order of business to get into is 2 things. Number 1 is the league, meaning the National Football League. Reading from a story on NFL.com as we speak, the legal battle continues between the NFL and the NFL Players Association in the Ezekiel Elliott suspension case. NFL Network's Tom Pelissero reported Monday that the NFL filed its appeal of Elliott's preliminary injunction to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit, per court documents. The move was expected after U.S. District Court Judge Amos Mazant III granted the NFL Players Association preliminary injunction request on behalf of Elliott on Friday, putting the 6-game suspension of Dallas Cowboys running back on hold. The appeal of the injunction seeks to reinstate Elliott's suspension. It's simply the next phase of the legal process. In this decision on Friday, Mazant agreed with the union that Elliott didn't receive a fair appeal hearing from arbitrator Harold Henderson, who was appointed by NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell. The league wants Elliott to serve the suspension this year. NFL spokesman Joe Lockhart also says Elliott won't be placed on the commissioner's exempt list. Quote, the question before the court is merely whether Elliott received a fundamentally fair hearing before the arbitrator, Mazant wrote. The answer is he did not. The court finds, based upon the injunction standard, that Elliott was denied a fundamentally fair hearing by Henderson's refusal to allow former girlfriend Tiffany Thompson and Goodell to testify at the arbitration hearing. Their absence effectively deprived Elliott of any chance to have a fundamentally fair hearing. The NFL disagreed with Mazant's assessment, setting the stage for the appeal. Quote, we strongly believe that the investigation and evidence supported the commissioner's decision and that the process was meticulous and fair throughout. We will review the decision in greater detail and discuss next steps with counsel, both in the district court and federal court of appeals. This is according to the league spokesman in a statement. So essentially what you have is a situation where the NFL Players Association is trying to allow Ezekiel Elliott to play. The NFL is trying to make sure that that suspension is reinstated and that Ezekiel Elliott serves it as soon as possible, meaning the season. Ladies and gentlemen, people walking around like Ezekiel Elliott is winning because he played Sunday night. I got news for you. He's not winning. And I'm not talking about he's not winning because he's going to end up serving the suspension, which we all know he will, because the CBA that the Players Association agreed to empowered the commissioner to make these decisions. That's not where I'm going. Here's where I'm going. This isn't deflated footballs. This is domestic violence. And Ezekiel Elliott, as long as he continues to fight this, that's as long as it will be, while his name is dragged through the mud and he's consistently and continuously associated with domestic violence. Now, Jerry Jones don't care because Jerry Jones wants him on the field. And the Players Association don't care because they're using him to retroactively go about the business of negotiating, doing collective bargaining. Because somehow, some way, if I win these battles, not the war, mind you, but if I win these battles, perhaps it will propel the NFL to surrender the power that we gave them with our CBA negotiations. And ultimately, we don't have to worry about disciplinary measures on the part of Roger Goodell. This is what this is about. Who loses? Ezekiel Elliott. Because your name is in the news constantly about domestic violence. Period. And by the way, Ezekiel Elliott has had ample opportunity to speak and proclaim his innocence, and he hasn't. He just hasn't. Plain and simple. 866-729-ESPN. That's 866-729-3776. The other thing I want to talk about is the Los Angeles Rams and the Indianapolis Colts. Ladies and gentlemen, let me say this. Los Angeles Rams won 46-9, trouncing the Indianapolis Colts. Jared Goff actually looked halfway decent, looked pretty damn good. This was not a game, it was an exhibition. This quarterback, Scott Tolzien, might be the worst quarterback I've ever seen. If he's not, he's pretty damn close based on what I saw yesterday. 2 throws, both pick sixes, 9 for 18 passing, just anemic, horrible, pathetic. This man, mere presence on an NFL roster, is the biggest evidence we have that Colin Kaepernick is being blackballed. Because for this dude to be in a league as a quarterback on a football Sunday is an atrocity. It's an atrocity. You gotta be kidding me. This dude was horrible. Just horrible. You can't make this up. But there he was, with his pathetic looking self, looking like a petrified puppy, scared to throw a damn football. That's how much it got. That's how bad it got. It got so bad, he looked like he was about to cry. And poor Coach Chuck Pagano, I shouldn't say poor because he's about to get himself fired, patting him on the back. I mean, just atrocious. But Colin Kaepernick can't get a job in the NFL. Really? Really? Want to hear anything about the Rams? I don't give a damn about the Rams right now. I'm glad they got Aaron Donald back. I'm glad Coach Sean McVay went up there and talked to Aaron Donald. I appreciate that. He's coming back. Still don't have his contract long term, but they'll keep open negotiations, and they didn't penalize him for the time that he's been away. I got news for you. Smart move for them to get him in. Prioritize getting him on board. But I don't want to hear about how they looked yesterday because they weren't playing an NFL team yesterday. Because when your quarterback stinks like that, everybody around you is demoralized. You don't even want to play football no more. Tell that brother gone. They better get Jacoby Brissett up in there quick, fast, and in a hurry. Quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Want to be a part of the show? Hit Stephen A. up weekdays from 1 to 3 Eastern at 866-729-3776.
Daddy, where do babies come from?
Honey?
Mommy went to the store.
Oh, well, you see, there's a mommy and a daddy, right?
Right.
And see, when they call Geico, they could save a bunch of money on car insurance.
Oh, really? And that makes them happy?
Yes, that makes them very happy.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we could have this talk, sunshine.
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
You're listening to the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Names that I also brought up during my diatribe in the first segment was Kirk Cousins. And here's why. Ladies and gentlemen, he went 23 or 40, 240 yards, just a touchdown and an interception. I get all of that. Redskins turned over the ball about 4 times. Carson Wentz looked impressive, 26 of 39, 307 yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception. They didn't have much of a running game in Philadelphia, but Zach Ertz, you got to remember, it's a big, big deal that he had 8 receptions for 93 yards yesterday, because last year the Eagles got virtually no production from its tight end spot, and both Ertz and Selleck, they didn't do anything from the tight end spot for the Philadelphia Eagles last year, which seemed inexplicable. But now this year, to start off the season with Zach Ertz getting the football, I think that's going to help Carson Wentz immensely. Nelson Aguilar, he had 6 receptions for 86 yards, including a 58-yard touchdown catch. He was impressive. This is a guy that's dropped passes in the past. I've accused him of having alligator arms, hearing footsteps, getting a little scared. That wasn't the case yesterday. Give credit where credit is due. The Eagles could also throw the football out of the backfield to a guy like Darren Sproles, which is also helpful, and we get all of that. But getting back to Cousins, here's my problem. When I think about Kirk Cousins, ladies and gentlemen, the Eagles were up, what was it, like 22-17? Kirk Cousins has the football. Ultimately, something goes wrong. This is what happens with the Eagles. It happens all the time. Supposedly throwing the ball forward, called an interception, Eagles scored a touchdown, they win the game. Here's my problem. When you think about Kirk Cousins, what drives me crazy is that he's the franchise. He's getting the $24 million. All of this stuff is true. The problem with Kirk Cousins is, can I ask you all as my listeners to think about this for a second? Football's the ultimate team game. One person doesn't win or lose it for you, supposedly, even though I just made the case with you that Scott Tolzien damn sure did. But here's what I'm trying to say. How many times has Kirk Cousins had the football in his hands with a game on the line, in position to win it, and almost doesn't do it all the time? Sometimes he has, but for the most part, he usually doesn't. What I'm saying to you is that, listen, it's one thing when you score in, but your defense can't stop anybody and all. The Redskins are competitive. And when they're competitive, somehow, some way, even if it's at a deficit, the ball is usually in Kirk Cousins' hands to win it for you. And they just don't do it. That's what bothers me about the $24 million he's getting. Nice guy, not a scrub. Can quarterback for a lot of teams in the NFL. I'm not saying that, but $24 million, $58 million $48 million rather over the last 2 years, really, for Kirk Cousins, $48 million, and it just doesn't get it done. Just doesn't. Redskins coming in last place this year in the NFC East. We all know this. This ain't rocket science here. I'm just telling you. This is the deal. Kirk Cousins ain't that dude. He can play, but he's not that dude. That's just not how I look at him. And I just think it's time that we all recognize that. 866-729-ESPN. It's 866-729-3776. It's just how I feel about it. Let's go to the phones. Kenny in Jersey, you live with Stephen A. What's up?
Hey, what's up, Stephen A? How you doing today?
Talk to me, brother. I'm good. What's up?
All right, man. You know I'm a Cowboy, so I'm going to keep it real with the Cowboys. But I want you to help me out with something real quick. I'm watching the Cowboy game, man, and I had some people over and stuff like that. But this thing with the Kaepernick thing is it's like staying in the game, man. I feel funny wearing my Cowboy stuff. You know, I haven't bought any new stuff
let me
this
say
year.
this. Let me say this to you. What do the Cowboys have to deal with Kaepernick?
Well, it's the NFL in general. You know what I mean?
I get all of that, but I don't think that. Listen, man, I don't think we can hold all the teams responsible. Here's why. We could say to NFL, Stephen Ross was considering him in Miami. Steve Bisciotti was considering him in Baltimore. I have no doubt that if they didn't have Dak Prescott, the Cowboys would consider him in Dallas. Because we know Jerry Jones don't care. So I don't know if all the NFL teams can be held accountable for it. I think the NFL as a league, the NFL Shield, and a lot of team owners can be held accountable. But I think we need to absolve some of those teams from being associated with those guys. Listen, if I'm Stephen Ross and 34% of my population in Miami is Cuban, I'm not bringing Colin Kaepernick there. Not after wearing that Fidel Castro T-shirt. If I'm Steve Bisciotti and you're going to sit up there and compare me to a slave owner and Leonardo DiCaprio from the movie Django, I'm not bringing you there. I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it. You're not going to disrespect me like that. Even though that was his girlfriend, you didn't say anything about it. You were quiet. You just she did that on her own. She's her own woman. She's a grown-up. She can do what she wants to do, but you could have spoke out and made sure that you let the world know that's not you. You didn't even do that. I'm not bringing you on. I have no problem with them two teams not bringing Colin Kaepernick on. So I'm just saying to you that if you're going to have a problem with the league office, have a problem with the coach, have a problem with the vast majority of owners, but absolve some of these owners from what you're feeling, Kenny, because it ain't all of them that were like that.
Okay, I got you. I do think that Jerry Jones, of course, we know he probably would pick him up.
Yeah.
But as far as that, I don't know. I just got my certain feelings about it. I just want to do the right thing, and I don't want to feel that stain. I just don't want to have that stain because I love football. I love my Cowboys. I love the Cowboys. Even though your team struggled with struggled with Cleveland yesterday, I ain't going to mention that.
I mentioned it already. Listen, they won. They 1-0 right now, ain't they?
They struggled with Cleveland. Cleveland didn't look bad.
I feel you on that, but did they win the game?
They sure did.
All right, then that's all that matters. And listen, Cleveland, you think I'm rooting against Cleveland? I love Hugh Jackson. I'm rooting for them. They're just not very good. And this kid Kaiser didn't play bad yesterday. I got to give him love and give him credit where credit is due. He didn't look bad yesterday.
I can appreciate that. We think they are.
Well, at the end of the day, it comes down to the wins and losses because Lord knows they lose a lot. Ain't no escaping that.
Guess what? You're in the middle of the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Damn it, I mean it! They're the best fight of the decade. I've been waiting for this for years. And I can't say enough about my man Oscar De La Hoya for coming through the way that he did. Because that man promised me personally he's going to have this fight by 2017, and he delivered. He didn't make us wait 5-10 years. He said now, Canelo Alvarez deserves a lot of credit because he wasn't running. Oscar made him wait. I just don't know how this is going to end up a decision. I don't know how it's going to happen. I'm trying to figure it out because Canelo's a counterpuncher, no doubt about that. I mean, listen. I'm telling you right now, Canelo doesn't back up. He knows how to counterpunch, but he doesn't really back up. And he wants you, and you know what? You're on the ropes. He wants you to come get him so he can attack you. But if you're Golovkin, whose defense isn't great, Golovkin's the type of person, man. Even though his defense ain't great, his offense is sensational. His brother gets you against the ropes. Lord. I'm telling you right now, I can't wait. I will be there, Lord willing. I will be at that fight Saturday night. First Take will be live from Vegas Thursday and Friday. I just can't wait, y'all. It's something special. Who do y'all got winning, by the way? I mean, we're going to be talking football today, but all week long, I want everybody who calls in to give me their prediction. Who's going to win the fight? Canelo or Golovkin? Canelo or Triple G? Who you got? I got Triple G by TKO in the 11th round. That's what I got. That's where I'm at with it. That's just me. 866-729-ESPN. Back to the phones we go. LJ in Houston, talk to me.
Steven, I need you to help me out with something. The coach of the Texans, O'Brien, you have to know your strength and your weaknesses of your team. Why hasn't he found Dwayne Brown, knowing that Savage is not elusive enough to get out the pocket and make plays? So then,
why has he not found what?
He's not elusive enough to make plays.
No, I know that, but you said before you said that, you said why hasn't Bill O'Brien found what?
The tackle. Why haven't they signed Dwayne Brown, the tackle, for the Texans?
Yeah, that's true.
Why haven't they signed him to protect the quarterback? Because he knows that the quarterback can't get out the pocket. So then you get behind the 8 ball, you throw Watson in, and now he has to make up for the damage that you've already done. I just don't understand that. Can you explain that to me? And why is he the offensive coordinator and the head coach?
First of all, I don't understand why he's the offensive coordinator and the head coach. That's number one. Number two, my biggest thing with him, more than anything else, is that, listen, Donovan McNabb brings this up constantly about Bill O'Brien. Are we sure that he can handle and develop quarterbacks the way he's supposed to? We don't know the answer to that question. That's a big deal and a big point. No doubt about that. No doubt about that.
That he can't, obviously, because of what is on the field. Now, my question is this. Who would you start Thursday? Because now he's saying he's not going to make a decision later on in the week.
It's easily a decision of Deshaun Watson. You know why? Because, A, he's the future, and, B, you already compromised Savage by pulling him out of this game. So you've already said that you think enough of Watson that you were going to throw in there. That you were gonna throw him in there and give him a chance. You already thought enough of him. He's clearly the future of the franchise. He clearly has that it factor and leadership ability, and he can galvanize the troops better than Savage could ever do. So therefore, you go with Deshaun Watson right now. Since you already brought him up, I wouldn't be saying that if it was just Tom Savage having a bad game. But because you yanked him out of the game and put in Deshaun Watson, I would say go with Deshaun Watson from here on out.
I agree, Stephen A. Appreciate your time, man.
Thanks a lot, bro. Let's go to Robert in New Jersey. You're live with Stephen A. Talk to me, Robert.
Hey, Stephen A. How are you, boss?
I'm good. Talk to me.
So I'm watching the Giants game last night. Longtime Giants fan. And, I'm starting to think that it might not even be the line. I think Eli is scared to throw the ball down the field because of this long time all last season. He's getting scared with, the problems at tackle. And I'm hoping for your opinion on the matter, whether or not you think Eli's cut it out.
Whether or not I think Eli is what?
Cut out for the job this year.
Yeah, I do. Listen. Wouldn't you be scared with that offensive line blocking for you? What's the matter with you? Would you not be scared if you were Eli Manning and you got that offensive line blocking for you? Come on, Robert. How can you blame him for that? That man, they can't block for him.
He'll throw the ball longer than 20 yards.
But you got to have protection, Robert. It's been 5-6 years since we've been talking about Jerry Reese getting him an offensive line. Tony Romo tells Jerry Jones, I need an offensive line. Jerry Jones gets it for him inside of 2 years. We've been waiting 5 or 6 years for Jerry Reese to get Eli Manning an offensive line. And I like Jerry Reese. But come on.
I don't disagree, boss.
You got to get him an offensive line. It's nothing.
True.
And it wasn't just Eric Flowers that was messing up. All of them, they were coming from everywhere.
Yeah, it's true.
All right, man. Take it easy. Jay in Arkansas, you're live with Stephen A. Talk to me.
Hey, what's going on, Stephen A?
I'm good, man. Go ahead.
Okay, I got a couple of things. Zeke, do you think he's gonna finish the season out? Because I heard someone of y'all on First Take say they figure he's gonna play the whole season, and that he might not get suspended till next year. Do you think that'll play out?
It's possible, but I think highly unlikely. I think the NFL is going to use this considerable clout and muscle, and I think that they're going to get a judge or find a judge to invoke their rights under the collective bargaining agreement. The courts do not want to intervene by usurping the authority of the collective bargaining agreement. It's the Bible in sports. And if you do that and you compromise that, you open a Pandora's box when it comes to all of that these folks do not want to deal with.
Yeah,
they don't want to deal with it.
Okay.
The courts don't want that.
I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. And then the other thing was, I heard you speaking about Dez Bryant, and saying, he just don't seem as, I guess since he got paid, he don't seem as like he's getting free and different things like that. But is it that, or is it really that they just not throwing to him as much? It's like last night, for instance.
Here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm saying. Watch Dez Bryant play. I don't see a dude that's creating separation, that's getting himself open. I saw Janoris Jenkins put him on lockdown last night. That's what I saw. And I'm telling you right now, there's something missing. I'm not telling you he's a scrub. I'm not going to disrespect Dez Bryant like that. I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to tell you is Dez Bryant doesn't seem to be himself. That's what I'm going to tell you.
Yeah, I agree with you on that because, he used to be the guy like, just throw it in my direction, I'm going to catch it, and you just ain't seeing it out of him no more. But, yeah, I just wanted to get your thoughts on those two things, and I'm going to say Triple G for the fight, and I know you had to be a little nervous for your Steelers last night. I know they won.
Hell yeah! I'm like the Browns. What the hell is going on here? I'm like, what the hell is going on there? Why are you having problems with the Cleveland Browns? That did make me nervous, man. I'll be the first to admit it. I was very uncomfortable with that.
Well, that's all I have for you, man. Thanks. Keep doing what you do.
No problem. Take it easy, my man. 866-729-ESPN. It's 866-729-3776. More to Stephen A. Smith Show on ESPN Radio before my man Ryan Clark comes on in hour number 2 in a minute. Stick around. Don't touch that dial.
Give Stephen A. piece of your mind.
He is sorry.
Call him weekdays from 1 till 3 Eastern.
Just trash.
At 866-729-3776.
What if I told you some stories you need to hear to believe?
Everywhere you went, Dan and Dave.
And that's these two athletes that are going to go to the Olympics this year, and it's going to be settled in Barcelona.
When Reebok approached Dave and I, the first thing both of us said, neither one of us are on this team yet.
The thought never, ever crossed my mind that Dan nor Dave would not make that Olympic team.
The all-new 30 for 30 podcast. Subscribe now on the ESPN app or Apple Podcasts.
30 for 30 podcast is presented by Mini. We're finding the best sports stories for you right now. And to do that, we're behind the wheel of the new Mini Countryman, the biggest Mini yet.
Please proceed to the highlighted route.
To find great sports stories, you have to get out into the world and follow your instincts. That's where the new Mini Countryman's all-wheel drive comes in handy. With all four, we can chase down a story in the city, the country, and most places in between. No matter what story you're chasing, the new Mini Countryman will help you find it. It's available now, and so are 30 for 30 podcasts.
Guess what? You're in the middle of the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Damn it, I mean it! Let me tell y'all something. I sat in my hotel room because I'm out in L.A. for a few days before I head on to Vegas this Thursday and Friday for shows for First Take, previewing Saturday night's epic matchup, epic fight between Canelo Alvarez versus Triple G. I got to tell y'all something. I sat in my hotel room and I watched that whole Ohio State-Oklahoma game from start to finish. I really did. And I got to tell y'all something right now. Oklahoma looks special. They are up to number 2 in the AP poll that came out today. Let me tell you something. They deserve it. This kid, Baker Mayfield, is an improved version of Johnny Manziel. I like him. Let me tell you something else I like. I like this coach, Lincoln Riley. He seems to have the pulse of the players in a way. I'm not one of those guys that's going to poo-poo Bob Stoops like that. Yeah, he didn't win a lot of big games, but he was still an outstanding coach, and let's give him the respect that he's due. But Lincoln Riley looks like he's legitimately the appropriate successor. And the rest of these brothers on this Oklahoma Sooners team, the speed, the athleticism, the heart to go in to Buckeyes territory, into their land, and to beat them down like this in the second half, I got to tell you something. This was special. And I'm going to go a step further. These Buckeyes, Urban Meyer, they've slipped, by the way, from 2 to number 8, and they deserved it the way they got romped. Oklahoma could win the national championship. You know me, I'm always about roll tide, baby. Alabama. But I got to tell you, Oklahoma can beat anybody. They're just that impressive. I'm just being honest with you. Now, this part about Baker Mayfield running around the field and then taking the Oklahoma Sooners flag and planting it in the middle of the Ohio State Buckeye sign, let me tell y'all something. He apologized today. There was no need to. There was no need to. When Ohio State beat Oklahoma on their home turf last year, Ohio State stood on their field and sang their fight song in hostile territory. Baker Mayfield returned the favor. Simple as that. He don't need to apologize. Ohio State could have done something about it by making sure they beat him. They didn't do it. Shut up. Suck it up and deal with it. But I respect the hell out of Urban Meyer. But I will tell you this. This is the second game in 3 of like the last 5 games. They've struggled miserably offensively. He says quarterback J.T. Barrett has lost his confidence. You're damn right he should lose his confidence. J.T. Barrett has proven he's a really big talent, very, very athletic. He's no quarterback on an elite level. He's proven that. I'm sorry, he just has. Look at the throws. Look at the decision-making. J.T. Barrett is not that great of a passer at the quarterback spot. He can play. He's no scrub. But he's not a quarterback. Not on an elite level. We got to stop mentioning him amongst those guys. He doesn't belong in that class. Back to the phones we go. Tony in Georgia, you're live with Stephen A. What's up?
Hey, Stephen A., can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go ahead, buddy.
Hey, man, how you doing? I love your show, man. I love you. I think you're one of the best to ever do it. Let me get that out of the way first. Steve,
thank you.
Hey, man, I wanted to come into this first time I ever called in, so very happy to be talking to you. But
thank you, but I need you to hurry up. Go ahead.
Okay, hey, I wanted to comment on the Canelo and the Triple G fight. I like Canelo. I heard you say you like Triple G, and I do respect that. I think Canelo will win the fight because I think Canelo is a better technical fighter than Triple G. Now, Triple G is a power puncher. He can definitely end the fight at any time with one punch, but Canelo's also got a lot of power. I just think his technical skills set him apart from Triple G. So let me know what you think.
Well, here's my problem. I totally agree with you. But if you don't have the power to keep Triple G off of you, what good is it going to do? See, I'm not picking Triple G because I think Triple G is going to be the better technical fighter. I'm not picking Triple G because I don't think that Triple G is not going to get hit. My question is Canelo going to be able to hurt him enough to keep Triple G off of him? I don't know if that's true. That's my issue.
I do think Canelo has a lot of power. And
whoa. He's got a lot of power at the junior middleweight division. He's got a power at the welterweight division. Fighting at 160, not so sure, sir. Not so sure. Even though Oscar says he's bigger than he's ever been, which has Oscar worried because he thinks that's going to slow Canelo down, and he doesn't like that. But we don't know if Canelo's going to be able to carry that power with him to the middleweight division.
Man, I really appreciate talking to you, Stephen A. Keep doing what you do.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Let me tell y'all something. Triple G is a natural middleweight. He refused to move down for Canelo. He said, Canelo, you call yourself the middleweight champion of the world? Come up to the middleweight division. Come up here with the big boys and do what you got to do. Don't you dare think for 1 second that you're going to sit up there and get me to weaken myself by losing weight to come down to fight you at a catch weight. No, you call yourself the middleweight champion of the world, come on up here. That's what Triple G did. And Canelo's going to blow up, and he's going to be big and strong. But everybody don't hit like Triple G. And that's my issue. I just really, really, really don't know right now. That's where I'm at with it. Those are my reservations. And I can't help but think along those lines. I just cannot. I got Triple G by technical knockout in the 11th round. That's just me.
That's just a sample of what you'll hear on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on Sirius XM Channel 80 and the ESPN app.
Okay, Kevin, for the grand prize of $1 million. What color is the White House?
I know this.
5 seconds.
Oh, switching to Geico could save you a bunch of money on car insurance?
Okay. Judges? That's true, Kevin. They'll allow it. Congratulations. You're a winner.
Woo! Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
When you're hiring, posting your job on just one site isn't enough. So where do you go to find top talent? With ZipRecruiter, you can post your job to 100 plus job sites with just one click. Let ZipRecruiter's powerful technology match your job to the right candidates and use their simple dashboard to find your perfect hire. In fact, over 80% of jobs on ZipRecruiter get a qualified candidate in just 24 hours. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/Stephen A. That's ZipRecruiter.com/Stephen A.
This is the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
I'm Stephen A. Back to the Stephen A. Smith Show right here on ESPN Radio. Always my honor and privilege to have my brother on the line with me right now. Exceptional NFL analyst for the family, former Super Bowl champion with the Pittsburgh Steelers. For some inexplicable reason, he went to the Washington Redskins for a year or so. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm talking about the one and only Ryan Clark right here with yours truly. What's going on, big time? How you doing, man?
What's up, man? How's the weather in L.A.?
It is lovely, I must confess. It is quite lovely. It is quite lovely. But let's get right to this because there's a lot of stuff that's on my mind that I wanted to get to with you right away. Ezekiel Elliott, Cowboys, They win last night. The Giants looked like straight garbage without Odell Beckham Jr. But Ezekiel Elliott played, rushed for 104 yards or what have you. Obviously, he appealed the suspension. For the time being, it appears he's winning because he's allowed to play. What do you make of the whole situation, Ryan?
You know, the NFLPA, Ezekiel Elliott, and their lawyers are going to use everything they can to keep him on the field as much as possible until they get the outcome they desire. And this is another tool in the toolbox to get him on the field and to have him on the field longer than week one, which was expected before the injunction was filed. And, you know, we saw this kind of happen with Tom Brady, and these things go through different courts and go through different appeals that allowed him to play until the year after. And I think he's easy to do the same thing. And you listen to everything after the game, whether it was Jim Trotter reporting about how much of a lift this was for the team, how the team was excited because Ezekiel Elliott would be there. And then you watch the game, you see the difference he makes. You see the morale of the team be at a totally different level because Ezekiel Elliott's out there and will be for the foreseeable future. And so until this thing is over, Stephen A., this is what you're going to see. You're going to see Ezekiel Elliott running the ball and the Cowboys making plays.
But people are walking around acting like he's won this, Ryan. Let me tell you what my feelings are because I'm really interested in getting your perspective on this. He is a black man that has been accused of domestic violence. This is not deflated footballs. And so the longer this drags on, particularly when he has never come out and said, I am innocent of any of this, the longer his name is associated with domestic violence. How is that a win for him?
I don't think this will ever be a win as far as public opinion goes. I myself also don't think that the suspension will be lifted. I think he will serve a suspension and miss games at some point. I don't believe courts are going to want to set the precedent of overturning the rulings of the NFL. And so in that case, and in that sense, I think he'll lose. And he's already lost in the court of public opinion. Anytime you're associated with this, anytime you're accused of an action as heinous as domestic violence, you are tagged, you are scarred, you are tattooed, you are painted as a villain in many respects. And those things, sometimes you can't do enough good deeds. You can't outlive the perception that comes along with the case like this that we've already been talking about and knowing about for 14 months that will continue to drag on until this appeal process is over. We could be dealing with this, and his name can be legitimately talked about with domestic violence for over 2 years. That isn't a win. But I don't believe it's going to turn into his favor, and so he won't win in the courts as well.
Ryan Clark right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. Let's get to some other subject matters circulating around the NFL. First of all, surprised at all by how bad the Giants looked last night against the Dallas Cowboys offensively?
I was. I thought they had done some things to shore up the offensive line. Eric Flowers wasn't the cause of last night's debacle up front. There were players getting pressure on Eli Manning from both sides, from straight up the middle. Mm-hmm. If you watch this team late last year, this is what they look like. If you go back to the second Dallas Cowboys game where the defense plays an amazing game, Janoris Jenkins has an interception, forces the fumble to win the game late. The Giants didn't move the ball that night. The Giants didn't look good that night. What was the difference? Eli Manning was able to throw a 4-yard pass to Odell Beckham that turned into a 60-yard touchdown. Last night, you don't have that guy out there. And though they have Brandon Marshall and you draft Evan Ingram and you have Sterling Shepard, who's a second-round pick last year, who you felt like will make the ascension to be a great number 2, even with all these guys, you don't have a number 1. Without Odell Beckham, you can't draw coverage off of Brandon Marshall, off of Sterling Shepard, off of Ingram. You can't open up the run game because teams have to play too high safeties. He is the most important non-quarterback in the NFL based, one, on his talent and what he's able to do, and secondly, on what his team is without him. Without Odell Beckham Jr., this is what we will see from the New York Giants.
Let's stay within the NFC East, Ryan Clark. Good Eagles or bad Redskins in the Eagles' 30-16 or 30-17 win over the Redskins yesterday?
There's a little bit of both. You know, your guy Kirk Cousins. He didn't.
Don't say my guy. Don't say my guy. Go ahead.
Hey, that's why I threw him on you. He didn't play particularly well. I think we really underestimated the loss of Deshaun Jackson and Pierre Garçon. Guys he had as go-to guys, able to hit the deep ball to Deshaun. Pierre was a very sure hands, tough possession receiver. You lose both of those guys, and they aren't replaced. You thought Jamison Crowder would come in and play better. He didn't. Terrell Pryor had a case of the drops. And so now Kirk's scrambling, trying to find some way to make plays, and then he's making bad decisions and bad throws. But go to the other side. If you remember, last year, Carson Wentz started the season like this against Cleveland. And so we know that this guy has talent, but some of the scramble plays, some of the toughness things, the intangibles that he was able to show yesterday, along with the arm strength, along with the scrambling ability, I think that really bodes well for what the Philadelphia Eagles can be going into this season. But if you're the Washington Redskins, you have to be a little worried, understanding that your $25 million man didn't play like $25 million yesterday.
Let me transition or stay within the NFC conference, however, real quick. What did you make of Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks offense? I can't believe the offensive line is still so troubling. Don't tell me that Green Bay's defense suddenly has resurrected itself and it didn't look. It ain't the Pop Warner secondary that it was last year. I'm sure it improved because there was no way to go but up. But still in all, don't tell me that it's that damn good. No, this was bad Seattle's offense because the offensive line stinks. What did you make of it?
I feel the same way. You knew left tackle was going to be a problem in the offseason, but you don't go fix it. You understood that your offensive line was the Achilles heel of the team last year, and you don't address it. Well, this is what you get. Russell Wilson ran for his life last year. He was injured on several occasions because of shoddy protection. And that's exactly what we saw against the Green Bay Packers. Now, I do think the Green Bay Packers are better. Devon House, if you looked at the preseason, has resurrected his career coming back from Jacksonville. DeMarcus Randall played better. Obviously, the safeties are really good. I thought that defense would be better. I didn't think that defense would look like that. But when you play in the Seattle Seahawks, who don't have great weapons outside, who don't have the running game that they used to because beast mode's not there and the offensive line is subpar, they dominated. If you're Seattle, you're just as worried as you were early last year. I think the difference is they now feel like they can turn the switch on. They feel like they can just turn things around. With what I saw yesterday, that's not going to be an easy fix. It's not going to be a fast fix, and they need to get on it right now before they find themselves in some troubling positions.
Ryan Clark right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. Let's transition to the AFC. What the hell were the Steelers doing having such a difficult time with the Cleveland Browns for, particularly with a rookie quarterback in Kaz at the helm for Cleveland? What was that about?
You know, if you look at the Steelers offensively, it took a while to get the running game going. There's some new pieces defensively in Cleveland, so they didn't score points, I think, at the clip that we expected them to. And Deshaun Kaiser played good football. He really did. It wasn't a groundbreaking day. It wasn't a day that says he's the next coming of a great quarterback. But I thought he played really well. And the Steelers will get better. You know, they'll shore some things up. They had some continuity issues on offense. Now you bring in Le'Veon back. Martavis is just 2 games, off of being suspended. So I think they'll be better. The thing is, you win. You win, and now you come back and you get to figure out some things. You got to realize, too, Stephen A., you're implementing Joe Hayden into a defense. He's only been there for a week and a half. So there's a lot of new pieces working in there in the Cleveland game. They got the win. They figured that out, and I think they'll be better next week.
Marvin Lewis and the Cincinnati Bengals got shut out.
Mm-hmm.
Kid, explain. By the Ravens, 20-0. Kid, explain.
Can you explain it to me?
I can explain it. Marvin Lewis needs to be fired because he shouldn't have been the coach because he hasn't won a playoff game in 14 years. That's my explanation. What is yours?
You've been saying Marvin Lewis is supposed to get fired like the last 5 years, Steve.
That's right. That's right.
Like, that's nothing. I do believe it's time for a change there. I believe the voice has run still. He's had plenty of opportunity to make this team into something different, to allow this team to take the next step. But also you have to look at the quarterback position. Andy Dalton is who he is. Andy Dalton isn't going to become a better player. He isn't going to become a more talented passer. And so when you have that issue at the quarterback position, I believe this team has reached this ceiling. And whether that's Marvin Lewis's fault or the owner's fault, it doesn't really matter, but there has to be a change there. I'm not going to call for Marvin's job. I don't want to do that, but it does seem that something has to shake for this team to have the ability to take the next step.
Before I let you get on out of here, Ryan Clark, real quick, I could not believe how god-awful Scott Tolzien was for the Indianapolis Colts.
He's the worst quarterback in the world right now.
Just pathetic. 2 pick sixes, 9 for 18 passes. I mean, it was god-awful. He made the Rams look like the Patriots, for crying out loud. I mean, doesn't this prove that Colin Kaepernick is being blackballed? That it does no explanation as to why he doesn't have a job. This guy has a job over him.
Well, there's absolutely no explanation why Scott Tolzien was the starting quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts week 1 and Colin Kaepernick doesn't have a job. You can't explain that away with football terminology. You can't explain that away with film. You can't explain that away with production. You can only explain it away in one way, to say because of the stance that he took, we don't want him on our team. I think that's very apparent. I think we all know that. We all understand that. And I don't necessarily know if that is going to change, because even though they aren't coming out and saying it, the owners aren't, the Ravens owners, he actually mentioned it, and Ray Lewis has said some things that, I'll just leave that there. But the owners aren't saying, hey, we're not getting Colin Kaepernick because we think Tolzien is better. They're just keeping quiet because they already know the reason, and to admit that reason is to acknowledge that he's being blackballed. Whether it was collusion in him being blackballed or they just all made decisions individually. But when you see a guy like Scott Tolzien who doesn't understand that today, even though we're on the road, we're wearing blue jerseys and the Rams are wearing white, you have to know it's time for that guy to go and understand why Colin Kaepernick doesn't have a job.
10 seconds or less. Deshaun Watson, should he be the starting quarterback for the Houston Texans going forward?
He should. He won't take him to a Super Bowl, but he's going to be your quarterback of the future. You might as well get him as many reps as you can of quality football.
Last question, 10 seconds or less. Is the Jets the worst offense in football?
I don't know. After seeing the Indianapolis coach yesterday, I'm going to have to go to Indianapolis coach.
That's right.
The Jets are bad, but I ain't going to give him that.
Well, I'm happy the Rams getting Aaron Donald back. I tell you that much. Maybe there'll be a legitimacy to their defense moving forward. But I appreciate it, man. As always, Ryan, thanks so much, buddy. I'll talk to you soon.
Have a good one, brother.
No doubt. One and only Ryan Clark right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio, 866-729-ESPN. That's 866-729-3776. Back with your phone calls, reacting to everything you heard Ryan Clark say, and then some. It's the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio.
Catch the Stephen A. Smith Show live on 98.7 ESPN New York, ESPN LA 710, and Sirius XM Channel 80.
You just can't make this stuff up.
Weekdays from 1 till 3 Eastern.
Daddy, where do babies come from?
Honey?
Mommy went to the store.
Oh, well, you see, there's a mommy and a daddy, right?
Right.
And see, when they call Geico, they could save a bunch of money on car insurance.
Oh, really? And that makes them happy?
Yes, that makes them very happy.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we could have this talk, sunshine.
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
You're listening to the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
I got to go back to Oklahoma, Ohio State. I really do. Because I got to tell you something right now. I was thoroughly shocked at the one side of the fair that I witnessed. There's a couple of things that's going on. First of all, let's give props where it's due. Mayfield is special. He's a better version of Johnny Manziel. I'm telling y'all that right now. Then you got to take into account the offensive line for Oklahoma. All right? Ohio State's defensive line is no joke. But if you look at these first two games that Oklahoma has played, Baker Mayfield has basically been standing in the pocket, taking pictures, calling his honey, doing all of that stuff before throwing the damn football. Because nobody can touch him right now. They've only allowed 2 sacks on 40 dropbacks. 40. That's what happened this past Saturday. So you got to give love to Oklahoma's offensive line. And speaking of the offensive line, this offensive tackle, Orlando Brown, take this into consideration, y'all. Because my man Mel Kiper hooks me up on all of this information. Him and Todd McShay, because they're the best in the business, and my man Paul Feinbaum. All right, it's not me knowing this stuff. It's the experts knowing this stuff. I keep telling y'all all the time, I'm brilliant because I know I'm not. I just listen to those who are, and I learn from them. That's not just humility, it's fact. I don't know college football the way the experts do. I just listen to the damn experts. And Mel Kiper's been bragging about this dude, Orlando Brown, out of Oklahoma for some time now. So what does he do Saturday? He goes up against Daquan Lewis, Sam Hubbard, and Nick Bosa. 3 dudes who are going to the NFL. They're going to the NFL as defensive linemen and linebackers going to the NFL out of Ohio State. And this dude, Orlando Brown, shuts down all of them. All of them. By the way, as an aside, people laughed at me, including Mel Kiper Jr., the expert. I wouldn't say he laughed, but he loves laughing at me. What can I say? I mean, I'm an idiot compared to him when it comes to college football, but he has nothing but love for me. That's my man. But I'm going to tell you this. Everybody laughed at me when I said Lamar Jackson could repeat as the Heisman Trophy winner. Have you been watching what he did these last 2 weeks? Did you see what he did to North Carolina this past weekend? 393 yards passing, 132 yards rushing. This brother is on another level. Back-to-back 500-plus yardage games. This is Lamar Jackson out of Louisville. I told y'all. I told you. His brother's no joke. But we'll see what he does against Clemson, though. They beat Auburn. Dabo Swinney, who likes to imitate me, did a damn good job doing it when he came on First Take, by the way. My show First Take on ESPN every weekday morning. Dabo Swinney came on while I was on vacation and did an imitation of me. And I got to admit, he had me dead to rights. He really, really did. See, I'm a man. I got to admit this stuff. Just like the Detroit Lions trolled me because I got on Matthew Stafford throwing a pick 6 yesterday. So about, hell no, I don't want to see no quarterback being the highest paid player in NFL history throwing a pick 6. Oh, no. And I went off about it after he threw the pick 6 against Arizona. He turns around, throws 4 touchdown passes, ends up winning the damn football game, and the Detroit Lions got at me because of it. And I got one thing to say to them about it. I'm sorry. They got me good. I deserved it. No doubt. You got to man up. You can't be calling people out, sticking your chest out, let people know where you stand, and then go hiding when they get back at you. It's all love. It's all in fun. I take no offense to what the Detroit Lions did. They got me good. I deserved it because I was a bit premature. So they got me. No problem. More power to the brothers. Back to the phones we go at 866-729-ESPN. That's 866-SAY-ESPN. 729-3776. Jake in Ohio, you're live with Stephen A. Talk to me, Jake. What's going on, man?
It's going good, Stephen A. How are you?
Oh, man, you got some explaining to do. You calling me from Ohio. What the hell happened to your Ohio State Buckeyes? What was that about?
Man, I am a diehard fan. I get season tickets every year, Buckeye fan. I'm just happy it wasn't worse than what it was. I mean, that first half, I think they were in the red zone 4 times Oklahoma, and they get 3 points out of it. You know,
hey, but listen. Hold on. You were still tied 3-3 at halftime. You were still tied 3-3 at halftime.
It could have been at least, I mean,
I'm just saying, man. I'm just
maybe
listen,
not more.
You know what it is, and help me out here, Jake. You help me out, okay? Because which part of Ohio are you in? Where are you at in Ohio?
I'm in Columbus, man.
All right, you right there. So let me ask you this. Y'all lost faith in J.T. Barrett, haven't y'all? Tell the truth. Give it to me, Jake. You on the Stephen A. Smith show. Don't sit there and half-step with me. Give it to me.
You know what? I'm
depending on you.
The reason why I say this, the reason why I am over
okay.
See, let me get this real quick. You know, he has all these records, all these Big Ten records. He's about to pass Drew Brees, you know.
Okay.
Dan Marino broke a lot of records, too. He didn't win no Super Bowl.
Whoa. You apologize on national radio right now, young man. You just mentioned J.T. Barrett in the same breath as Dan Marino. You apologize right now. You know good and damn well, Dan Marino, devoid of a Super Bowl, is still one of the greatest quarterbacks we've ever seen. J.T. Barrett will never be confused with that. He's a great athlete. But he's not a quarterback. You do understand that, right?
I agree. Hassan, that's why I said I think I'm ready to move on. Yeah, he has all these records, but in the day, what would you rather have, records or national championships?
By the way, how do you feel if you J.T. Barrett and Urban Meyer sitting around talking about how he could see that you've lost confidence in yourself? That's just not good. That's just not good.
Not a good look.
That's not a good look at all. And in 3 of the last 5 games, Ohio State has struggled miserably on the offensive side of the ball, including in the bowl game last year in the playoffs. They got shut out, and then you put up this egg this past Saturday. I don't know about Ohio State right now, man. I really don't know. I really, really don't know. But I appreciate the call, Jake. Thank you so much. 866-729-ESPN. More of your calls in a minute. It's the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio.
Guess what?
You're in the middle of the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Damn it, I mean it!
Let me transition. Forgive me for transitioning into some baseball, but listen. Postseason's about to begin in a little while. About a month away from that. Let me say this. My God, what a job Terry Francona's doing. 18 straight games the Cleveland Indians have won. 18 straight. What a hell of a job Terry Francona's doing. I mean, this man led the Boston Red Sox to a World Series, ended the curse, goes to Cleveland, guides them to the World Series last year, Game 7. By the way, they could have easily won that World Series, but the Cubs give them mad love and credit where it's due. But you have that going on. I mean, once upon a time, I thought the Astros was destined. They've lost 4 straight, primarily probably because of distractions. But still in all, I thought the Astros was a lock to go to the World Series. I'm not so sure. My Yankees, I think they're going to get the wild card, obviously, but I still think they could catch the Boston Red Sox. They're only 3.5 games back. I still think they could catch them. I really do. Congrats to Aaron Judge, by the way. 40 home runs. Only rookie since Mark McGwire to do it. Major props to him. That's on that side of the country. Out west here, because I'm in L.A. right now. Ladies and gentlemen, in the city of Los Angeles, it is officially time for you to be concerned. The Dodgers are 1-16 in their last 17 damn games. They once had a 21.5 game lead. It has been dwindled to 9. Now, obviously, you in Southern California, see, these are the kind of things we don't talk about enough. So let me just put it out on Front Street. As beautiful as the sunshine is, and the palm trees, and all the other stuff that comes with it. Let me tell you the hazard. Heat breeds fatigue. And the Dodgers are clearly a tired bunch. And a bit ailing as well. I don't give a damn, though. 16 losses in the last 17 games. This is a problem. And the way it's looking right now, let me tell y'all something. Even though the Cubs have lost 3 straight, even though the Nationals ain't the same without Bryce Harper, although they're 33 games above 500, let me be very, very clear to y'all. Whether it's Milwaukee or definitely Arizona, one of these teams can knock off the Los Angeles Dodgers. And after all of the noise that everybody made, with the crew that you have, with Irvin Magic Johnson himself talk about the Dodgers going to win the World Series, let me tell y'all something. You don't want to hear me on the radio if the Dodgers end up blowing this season. You don't at least make it to the World Series. Man, you don't want to hear me. I'm telling y'all right now, Los Angeles, you don't even want to hear my mouth. I'm being real with you. Ain't no damn excuse for that. All the season, this entire season, y'all been balling, and you gonna fold like cheap tents like that? Dave Roberts, get it together, man. 16 losses in the last 17 games. That's just not good. It just isn't. 866-729-ESPN. That's 866-729-3776. Back to the phones we go. Tony in Massachusetts, talk to me. You're live with Stephen A.
Hope all is well, Stephen A. Good talking to you again.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Just have a contender for your worst sports fans. Now, this, like you said with the Cowboys, you don't mind the Cowboys, it's their fans. Now, me, I live in Massachusetts, so I'm always around Pats fans, and I'll tell you the level that they have for the annoyance is just up there with the Cowboys.
Why?
Well, here's the thing. Now, the Cowboys fans and the Patriots fans, they're the same people. They just take 2 separate paths, right? So you have the Cowboys fans who are always losing, who always thinks next year is their year. And now on the reverse side, you have the Patriots fans who, you know, they're a good organization. They're a winning organization. So anytime, like, let's say Thursday, something happens and you call out maybe, you know, something's going on, maybe an injury, this or that, you know, they just explode and think, you know, the Patriots fans are God's gift to earth and yada, yada.
Stop right there. Stop right there, Tony. Who's your favorite team?
The Bengals.
Well, see, that's your problem right there. You're jealous. They've been to 6 straight AFC championship games. They've won the 3 of the last 6 Super Bowls. They've won 2 of them. They've dominated the AFC East. They usually win at least a game in the playoffs. They've been to like 8 Super Bowls and like 8 conference championship games. And the Bengals can't win a playoff game. And you going to call up here complaining about the fans in Massachusetts? Why aren't you complaining about the Bengals organization? Your efforts would be better served there. Now, you got to fess up and you got to man up to that. You are jealous. Say it.
No doubt. I mean, like I said, I appreciate the Patriots. I don't mind their winning ways.
No, I'm talking about the fans. I'm talking about the fans. You are jealous because you can't deny that if you rooted for a team that was that successful, you would harbor a strong level of arrogance yourself. Are you denying that?
Well, they ask me if it's hate, and I tell them 100%.
I understand that, and I'm not knocking you for it. I'm saying if you were them, if the Bengals had the Patriots' success, would you not be just like these fans?
Probably.
Yes, you would. Thank you. Have a nice day. Take it easy, buddy. Get over it. Tell your Bengals to win for a damn change. Tell Marvin Lewis, tell him to get rid of Marvin Lewis, let him go be a coach elsewhere, and stop pretending to be a coach that's going to win something in Cincinnati, because we know damn well he's not. And even if he did, it doesn't negate the fact that he deserves to be fired, because 14 years have passed since he won a damn playoff game. He doesn't deserve it. Plain and simple. Trey in Alabama, talk to me. You're live with Stephen A.
Hey, what's up, Stephen A?
I'm good, man. Talk to me, bro. How you doing?
All right, so I'm a Baltimore Ravens fan.
Yeah.
And I honestly believe that we can make the playoffs this year. What do you think?
You can. You can. You got a chance. You got a chance. You're in the AFC North. It's always highly competitive. It's usually a seesaw battle in that regard. So we have to look at it from that perspective. Flacco showed up yesterday, looked relatively pedestrian, but he lucked up because he was playing against Andy Dalton, who was en route to throwing 4 interceptions. You ain't going to get that every week. West rushed for 80 yards for you, averaged about 4 yards a carry. You got Macklin and Woodhead that did a relatively decent enough job. They didn't have to do much. They combined for 5 receptions, but it was still good enough to beat the Bengals. Your defense is going to be there for you. Your offense is always the question mark because of Flacco being Fluco.
Fluco. I mean, I think Flacco. I think he can have a good year this year. You
think, but you don't know, and that's the problem. Don't you understand that? Flacco has been in the league for many years. He's a Super Bowl champion. Why the hell do you have to think? You should know by now what kind of year he's going to have because he should be able to give it to you.
That's true.
And you don't know that, and that says it all. Got to bounce, bro. Appreciate the call. 866-729-ESPN. That's 866-SAY-ESPN. Your calls to close out the show in a minute. It's the Stephen A. Smith Show on ESPN Radio.
Want to be a part of the show? Hit Stephen A. up weekdays from 1 to 3 Eastern at 866-729-3776.
What if I told you all it took was a pair to win it all?
Phil Ivey, the most famous gambler in the world, was accused of cheating casinos of multiple millions of dollars.
Ivy and a female accomplice.
My name is Chang Yin Sam. Everybody call me just Kelly.
Kelly's son is probably the most dangerous match player in the world right now.
The all-new 30 for 30 podcast. Subscribe now on the ESPN app or Apple Podcasts.
30 for 30 podcast is presented by Mini. We're finding the best sports stories for you right now. And to do that, we're behind the wheel of the new Mini Countryman, the biggest Mini yet.
Please proceed to the highlighted route.
To find great sports stories, you have to get out into the world and follow your instincts. That's where the new Mini Countryman's all-wheel drive comes in handy. With all 4, we can chase down a story in the city, the country, and most places in between. No matter what story you're chasing, the new Mini Countryman will help you find it. It's available now, and so are 30 for 30 podcasts.
Guess what? You're in the middle of the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Damn it, I mean it! To the phones we go before we close out the show. Got to get on out of here, run around real quick. Stephen A. Smith coming at you live from L.A., where I'll be the next 3 days before heading to Vegas for the Triple G Canelo fight this Saturday night. Best fight of the decade as far as I'm concerned. Mike in Denver, talk to me real quick, bro. Go ahead, buddy.
How you doing, man? I'll get off the phone real quick. Yeah, the transition to baseball, we'll talk about it another day, but the Nationals are going to win the World Series, Stephen A.
Stop it. Stop
it.
Man. I can't trust their bullpen.
Strasburg ain't played a playoff game yet, Stephen A. He's healthy this year.
Hold on, Mike. I can't trust their bullpen, man. Can't do it.
We ain't got to worry about the bullpen when it comes when it gets to the playoffs.
You always got to worry about the bullpen in the playoffs. You always got to worry about that, man.
Remember this, Stephen A. If Strasburg playing the playoff this year, Washington gonna win the World Series.
Listen to you talking. If how many years we've been saying if when it came to Strasburg?
He ain't been playing this part.
Damn right. That's my point.
But he's playing now, though, Stephen A.
All right.
I'm gonna let you get to another caller, man.
Thanks a lot, bro. We damn sure going to talk about it. I'm not going to let you get away with it. We're going to talk about it another day, Mike. We definitely going to talk about it another day. Let's go to Manuel, live from Cali. Stephen A. What's up, man?
Stephen A. Smith.
I'm good. Go ahead, buddy.
Hey, brother, I just want to say what's up to you. I love your show, and I just wanted to say that I think Canelo's going to take this one. So when he takes it, just send a shout-out to Manuel, the 49er fan.
Okay, no problem. And you picking who, Manuel?
Canelo.
Okay, got you. Appreciate the call. Thank you so much. Kyle in Arizona, you're live with Stephen A. Go ahead.
Hey, Stephen A., just want to let you know I think you're the GOAT. Always listen to you every day, first-time caller. Wanted to talk about the Minnesota Vikings. I've got some friends out here thinking they ain't going to handle business tonight, and we all know them Saints haven't been playing like the old Saints. And Drew Brees, he's a gunslinger, but on the road in that dome, I don't know.
Well, listen, I don't know.
What's your opinion?
I think that Drew Brees is an entirely different quarterback on the road than he is at home. And as a result, I'm going to give Minnesota the edge. I'm not sold on Sam Bradford, but I'm even less sold on New Orleans' defense. And as a result of that, I don't expect much. I expect Minnesota to win tonight's game. I appreciate the call. Jose in Connecticut, you're live with Stephen A. Go ahead.
Yeah, Cowboy Nation, baby. What up, Stephen?
I can't understand you. My listeners can't understand you. Be cool, brother, and just make your point. We got to understand you.
Hey, check it out. I'm a Cowboys fan, right? Look,
okay.
Just by the win yesterday, it was a little sloppy for us, but whatever. But I'm just happy we beat the Giants.
Okay.
Now, just by the way we was looking, how would you predict? How do you think we're going to be looking throughout the season as record-wise,
Well, first of all, I think you're going to win at least 10 games, and I think you'll make the playoffs as a wild card. I think you'll lose the division to the Giants. As soon as Odell Beckham Jr. gets back, I think that, the Giants will be just fine. And Odell Beckham Jr., his leverage went up exponentially because looking at how awful that offense looked without him, the Giants had damn sure better get him his money. Because they come and go as he takes them right now. That's the way it looks.
Now, that's with Ezekiel. Without Ezekiel, the 10 wins.
With or without him, Dallas wins 10 games. Because of Dak Prescott, that offensive line with McFadden and Morris running the football, if Ezekiel Elliott is not running the football, plus Jason Witten, Cole Beasley, and Terrence Williams. I'm waiting for Des Bryant to step up and remind me he's a star because that's not what I've seen from him the last 2 years. Gotta go. Appreciate the call. Kurt in Los Angeles, you're live with Stephen A. Real quick. Go ahead, Kurt.
Stephen A., Los Angeles Rams, 10 wins, man.
You on drugs. You're smoking
you said that last
crack.
Time, man.
And I was right. What are you talking about? I said it last time like I was wrong. I was right. Are you kidding me? The Rams, 10 wins? What drug are you smoking? You must be crazy. Well, I mean, you need to go get crack tested right now. That don't make no damn sense because Jared Goff had a good game against the Indianapolis Colts. Are you kidding me? What drug are you sniffing? Your running game is suspect. Can't even block for Gurley. You can barely protect Goff. And your receivers, you got a receiver. Your leading receiver yesterday was some dude named Cup. I mean, give me a break. I mean, you got Sammy Watkins with Gurley and those boys. I get it. And Tavon Austin only had one reception for 7 yards. But I'm just saying, 10 wins in the NFC, particularly the NFC West. Have you lost your mind?
You guys didn't even cover the spread.
Oh, please. Who's you guys? Who are you guys?
Pittsburgh.
So what? Hold on. What that got to do with the Rams?
How you
the Rams and hold on. Listen. You want to dial tone? You want to have a discussion? I'm not entertaining that. You can't call me up asking me about the Rams and 10 wins and then transition to Pittsburgh. That has nothing to do with the Rams. Stick with the Rams. The Rams ain't winning no damn 10 games in the NFC West when you got Seattle and Arizona to play. It's not happening. It's not happening. Goodbye. Bye. Jay in Tennessee, you're live with Stephen A. What's up?
Hey, how's it going, Stephen A?
Go ahead, buddy. I'm good.
Okay. No, I just had a quick question. What do you think the difference is between the Ezekiel Elliott situation and when Roethlisberger was around the same age, his situation with the 2 cases brought against him? Now, I know in court and everything how it played out, no charges and stuff were brought against him, and similar to no charges been brought against Zeke. But, it's probably probable doubt in both situations that something occurred. But what is the situation? Because it happened to Roethlisberger twice.
Hold on. What do you mean? What's the situation in terms of what?
In terms of the punishment, like what and
the
that no one remembers what happened with him. Like no one brings it up.
No. Stop right there. Stop right there. Because he got 4 games. So because he got 4 games, okay, he served. Remember, he was never arrested and he was never prosecuted. So he was at the behest of the league. And remember, there was no video like it was for Ray Rice. There was no conviction like it was by a trial judge for Greg Hardy. And there was no domestic violence policy in place at the time that Big Ben Roethlisberger had his troubles. All of this with Ezekiel Elliott has come about in the aftermath of all of that. Plus, you got 5 separate incidences over 3 specific days. So the commissioner is like, nah, we ain't having that. More probable than not, don't give a damn what you think. I got the power to punish you, and that's that. And so Ezekiel Elliott is appealing it. That's where we are.
All right. Thank you so much, Stephen A. I appreciate it.
Thank you. See, that's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. This is why I think it's foolish for Ezekiel Elliott to pursue this. Because whether you play or not, eventually you're going to serve the 6 games. And all you've ensured is that you're going to keep your name in the news that much longer because of domestic violence. With Big Ben Roethlisberger, we barely remembered it because he served in 4 games. And then came back, ended up getting married, having a kid, and going on with his life. Ezekiel Elliott is going to be in the news like this is about some deflated footballs when, in fact, it's about domestic violence. I think it's stupid for him to continue pushing this. But that's him. Talk to y'all tomorrow. Peace and love.
That's just a sample of what you'll hear on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on Sirius XM Channel 80 and the ESPN app.
Okay, keep your eyes closed.
Okay.
I want to show you my first ever painting.
All right.
Okay. Open your eyes.
Oh, that's a lot of colors and shades.
So be honest. What do you think?
Well, I like how if you switch to Geico, you could save hundreds of dollars on car insurance.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah,